Hello, it's Monday the 30th of April 2018. So, all weekend I've been working on my drawings. I just suddenly got into that frame of mind or sort of state where I can do my work, and because I didn't want to risk losing that, I just worked solidly almost the entire weekend on the illustrations, and I've done a huge chunk of the work that I needed to do now, so I'm feeling really good about that. And let me just show you some of the things I've been working on. So these are going to be my final images that are hopefully going to be in the children's book. The author asked that I include more background and that the text would sort of be on the background, so I made sure to do that in these versions of the images. So I've sort of rescaled and changed the layout and things like that compared to the ones I'd done initially. So that's it for those, and then I'm working on another set right now that I haven't finished painting yet. So, made some really good progress, and now I feel a lot more confident that I'll be able to get the work done. So the other thing was I got some feedback on my essay from the art professor, and it was really good. He didn't mention anything that I needed to change. He said that I'd thought carefully about and researched the topic that I'm interested in, which in this case is about sort of changing social attitudes to health, but you know, in young children. And I included a lot of background information about all that in my essay, and spoke about making the book very inclusive and things like that as well. So now that I know that I've got a good grade for my essay now, although we don't find out the grade for another couple of weeks, but based on the feedback I think I've got an A. So that's given me loads of motivation to really do my drawings, and that's what I've been doing. So I'll just go and make myself a cup of tea, and then I'll tell you what else has been going on. Hello, me again. So there's a few other things that have been going on that I haven't told you about yet. One of them is that the pet shop that was meant to be sending me a replacement filter for my tank, they just never sent the filter, and all weekend I was so worried that the fish were gonna get ill, but they've actually been fine, and I think it's probably because I've got a good 10 or so plants in that tank, and they do filter the water a little, so there doesn't really seem to be any negative effects on the fish so far, but I know I'm just rolling the dice on one of them turning belly up. So, and I'm really attached to them all now, and I've been sort of caring for them and watching them grow, and I really want to keep these fish alive. So I called Pets at Home this morning and explained the issue, and they said that they'd cancelled the delivery of the tank that had the filter in it, which I was supposed to take the filter out of and then send the tank back. So they admitted that they were in the wrong there and said they didn't want anything bad to happen to the fish, especially after I told them the value of the actual fish, and they realised that it was a lot of money. So they decided that they would find the most similar tank they could that comes with its own light and filter and just give me that, and then I would just transfer all my fish into that, and then they said that I could discard the old tank. So I said, or I could give it to a friend to use, and she said, yeah, that's fine, it's yours. So basically the upshot of all that is that I'm getting a free tank. My original one's 60 litres and this one's 55 litres, so they're near enough the same. And this one, for some of the fish, this new one would be better because it's like, you know, got more floor space, being more like a traditional sort of square or rectangle shape really, whereas the one I've got is this like tall half moon tank. But I love the tank I've got, so I'm thinking about just buying a new separate filter for it anyway, and then setting up the new tank as a second one. And I really shouldn't do this because I've got so many tanks in my room and I've got no space for more tanks, and I'm supposed to be moving into student accommodation, which will give me even less space. But I guess it just seems like the universe has just given me this extra tank, so I might as well make the good use out of it. The other thing that happened was I had to go through a financial assessment with the council, so I've done that this morning, and it sounds as if I did get carers I'd only have to pay a small amount per week towards that cost, and the council would cover the rest because I'm not able to work and the money that they do give me is only just barely enough to live on, so I'd only have to pay something like £30 a week regardless of the amount of care that I get. So I'm happy with that. Now I'm waiting on a couple of deliveries today, so I'm waiting for my lunch to arrive. I'm waiting for the new tank to come from Pets at Home, and I'm also waiting for another tank because had I known this was going to happen, I wouldn't have ordered this other new tank that I just found on sale that looked good for shrimp. But I didn't know, so I did order it, and this was a few days, 4 or 5 days ago, before I had any idea that the new filter wouldn't turn up. And I could return it, but it's probably quite expensive to post and it's not even worth that much anyway. So I may end up, instead of 3 tanks, I'll have 4, and I'll gradually shut down that small 10-litre plastic one I have with the shrimps and snails in, because being plastic, it's not as nice to look through, and especially when you've got baby shrimp and you want to see them really in detail, I think it's just not so good for that, although, you know, it does fine. So yeah, I'm going to do some reshuffling of all my fish, some aquascaping and planting and all that sort of thing. So I may take a break from my paintings today and then get started on them again tomorrow. So things are going really well, things are looking much better than they did a few days ago, and I'm feeling fairly happy and fairly myself again. Hey, guess what just arrived? A fish tank. Now this is the one that I ordered for the shrimp before I knew that I was getting another one free. So this should just be like a little 15-litre or something tank. The box looks bigger than it should be, honestly. Whoops, that's the back. Turn it round. Ta-da! Hello, so I actually discovered with the little 15-litre shrimp tank when I tried to go and set it up and went to rinse out the tank and stuff that it's actually smashed, like in the far corner at the back, but it was just hard to see until you actually got your hands in there, and I sort of felt little bits of glass. So I've called them and they're going to send me out another one to arrive tomorrow, but this replacement tank from the pet shop just arrived. They had a guy who works in the shop just come and deliver it in his own car, which I thought was sweet, because I said I couldn't really get out to the shop because of my wheelchair and the fact that I can't drive. So I'm questioning myself here whether I'm doing the right thing or whether I'm going to create a bunch of work for myself to undo later. But what I'm going to do is set up this big 55-litre tank as if it was the smaller shrimp tank, and then maybe I'll just use the other smaller shrimp tank for something else, or I may use it to sort of keep shrimp that I pick out that I don't like the colours of, or something like that. I'm not sure yet. I kind of don't need it now that I've got this one, but whatever. Just added a bunch of snails so far. If they do okay, I'll add the shrimp next.